Hello and welcome back to Sakura Angels. In the last episode, we got a surprise as the two angels that appeared to be guardian angels and now suddenly appeared as classmates in Kenta's class. One of them, the more joyous one, was a very well-acting sports person, breaking several records, at least what the boys could see, as the boys and the girls were split up during gym class. They talked a bit about what was going on during lunch break, and Kenta tried to figure out why the angels were here in his class as students, and they argued that the shadows, the monsters that one he met earlier that morning, was growing bolder to attack in sunlight. And so they presumed that the best way to defend him and to keep him safe was to be near him at all possible times. Let's continue. And so classes resume. After all the initial excitement in the morning, not a lot happens throughout the remaining lessons. They drag on at a glacial pace, somehow even more dull than usual. It's also hard to keep my mind focused on anything with Sayaka and Hikari on each side, there to protect me. I was half expecting a monster just to burst its way through the window and for the whole place to just turn into a battleground, though it might have at least made things more lively. With one final ring of the bell, school comes to a close. A hazy amber glow takes over the classroom as the sun begins to set. The majority of the students begin to filter out of the class to start their clubs or part-time jobs. Not me though, I'm off home. While joining a club is certainly encouraged, thankfully this isn't a place where it is enforced. Meaning I'm free to loaf all that I want. It might make me come across as a bit of a slacker in the eyes of other students, but they're not exactly wrong. Wasting no time, I set out of the school and began to head home. Something that should have been fairly stress-free, but... I should have expected this, but it's still a bit much. The horizon grows darker with each step I make through the quiet streets, and a pale moon slowly making its presence known in the sky. Thud, thud, thud. My heavy steps resound down the narrow road, quickly swallowed into the night. But there's also another set of steps, or rather two set of steps, that sound to either side of me. Far lighter steps, with far more grace than I could ever possibly hope to achieve. Look, I know you're here to protect me, but do you really need to be so, close? Yes. Those steps belong to none other than my self-professed guardian angels. Sayaka to my left and Hikari to my right. They practically walk in unison with me, their shoulders inches away from mine. Don't be stupid. Walking home alone at night would be the perfect time for the enemy to strike. This is where we have to stay on our guard the most. Yikes! She doesn't have to yell so loud right into my ear like that. I think I must be just getting a little deafer from spending time with her today alone. Do you think I like having to be this close to you? You should be grateful I'm doing this at all. Another humph and a turn of her head, her vibrant hair swaying gently. Right. I'm sorry. Don't be like that, Hikari. Don't think I catch you sneaking glances at his face while he's looking elsewhere. As she walks, Sayaka leans across to me to smirk at Hikari. This is getting really awkward, guys. So, I was just checking the enemy hadn't landed a stealth attack on him. Sure, whatever you say. My left ear is rocked by a mischievous giggle as Sayaka breaks into hysterics, all the while Hikari's face begins to turn an interesting shade of red. I like this bass. Anyway, you're the one who keeps pressing your shoulder up against him. What are you trying to do? Huh? She was doing that? Now that you mention it, the left side did feel kosher for a time. I was just trying to keep him warm. See, I care for his well-being and I wouldn't want to carry him to catch a cold. So he's not complaining, so he must like it. Without warning, she latches onto my arm, pulling herself in and almost sending me toppling to the ground. See? Hey now, this is... What are you doing? You're going to tear his arm off. You have to do it more gently, like this. Hikari latches onto my other arm, hooking it within hers in an attempt to tug me away from Sayaka. What the heck did this turn into? Girls, you really don't need to. No. That isn't how you do it at all, Hikari. It's more like... Sayaka pulls back on my arm, and soon they both have a firm grip on each of my arms, determination across their faces as I become some sort of human rope. What is this? Tug of war? They're going to rip me apart. Ha! Please, this is how it's done. Do they even remember what they're trying to do? What started innocently enough has now spurred into some sort of contest between them. They are really competitive. Ow! Now is not the time to think about stuff like that. Can you please get off me? Raising my voice more than I'd ever done in a while, I explode my body at stake here. And like that, they both let go of my arms at once, leaving me free to ensure that they are both still fully intact. I'm glad they listened to reason. I really thought I was going to die there. Apparently it's not the monsters I have to worry about anymore, it's these two. Girls. At least, I thought it had been my desperate cry that had gotten through to them, but they seem completely transfixed by something up above. What are they looking at? I squint my eyes and gaze high above the rooftops. And then, as the cloud parts and the pale moonlight shines down, I see her. Ooh. A girl sits on the ledge of the highest point of one of the tallest buildings in the area. Silvery hair that seems to glimmer in the moonlight, and an outfit that is as dark as the night sky. She gives off an awe-inspiring look, almost angelic. Like she's some sort of angel gazing down from the heavens. At least, I would call her an angel if it wasn't for that unsettling grin that just now spread across her face at the sight of us. Ah, there you are. She murmurs something to herself that I can't make out at all from the distance between us. Whatever it is she said, it was enough to make her shoulders shake with laughter. I can't help but feel like I've seen her somewhere before. I wonder why that is. No matter how high I try to think back, I can't recall her face at all though. In a burst of feathers, obsidian wings unfurl from behind her. Now, those definitely aren't holy. I've got a bad feeling about this. Amber eyes peer down at the three of us, narrowed in determination as the same unsettling grin remains. It might just be my imagination, but I think she's looking at me specifically. I can almost feel her stare. It's enough to send a chill down my spine, and it sparks a faint pulse at the back of my skull. A friend of yours? I force out a laugh, though I know the truth. The air's growing tense, like that time with the monster before, and the looks on both Hikari's and Sayaka's faces can only suggest something bad is about to go down. Heh! Afraid not. Kenta, get back. I don't like this at all. But, okay. I do as I'm told and proceed back a good distance, not really wanting to argue when they look as scary as they do. So what do you think we're dealing with here? She seems far too human to be a shadow, but then I get the same feeling of dread from her presence. Ah, gotcha, I think. Wait, so is she a monster or not? That's what I'm trying to figure out. If you would stop yelling in my ear for 1 second and let me concentrate. I'm not yelling! Sheesh. Right. I forgot. That's your default volume. Well then, just be quiet and let me think things over. You're so cruel sometimes, Hikari. The silver-haired girl, still high atop the roof, gives me one last look before turning her gaze to the girls. And then she jumps. What? Why did she jump? I can barely watch. She plummets downwards towards where my guardians are stood. No hint of even beginning to slow down. Are those wings just for show? Faster and faster she descends before finally the pavement closes in. I don't want to watch this, but somehow I get the feeling she wouldn't have jumped without a good reason. At least, I hope she didn't. Mere inches from smashing into the ground, her wings spread wide as if brakes before bringing her to a sudden stop. Not even a gradual halt. She just comes to a complete grinding halt, as if the laws of gravity don't really apply to her. Even with the wings, something like that shouldn't be possible. I mean, if a pigeon were to attempt something like that, they would barely be recognizable on the pavement by now. In fact, her feet aren't even touching the ground. She hovers above ever so slightly before stepping onto the solid surface, as if stepping off of an invisible platform. Part of me is relieved that she isn't hurt from that little stunt, but then part of me is also terrified about what might happen next. The silver-haired girl stands before Hikari and Sayaka, her expression still as unsettling as ever. Despite the smile though, there's nothing in her posture that would suggest she has any bad intentions, yet the two other girls are tense. My head rings just trying to focus on her, like the monster from before. Is she related to them? I clutch a hand to my head and try to steady myself. It's taking all of my willpower just to keep upright at the moment. Good evening, girls. She greets them casually, despite the intense glares directed her way. Somehow, I get the feeling she didn't leap off of her frickin' roof just to exchange pleasantries. Let's cut to the chase, shall we? Who are you and what do you want? My, you're a hostile bunch, aren't you? She lets out a devious giggle, doing little to ease the tension in the air. Very well. You may call me Yuzuki. As for what I'm after, well... Her eyes flit from the girls and settle straight onto me, her smile enough to send in yet another chill down my spine. I'll be taking the boy, if you don't mind. See, he's very important to me. I knew it. Of course she would be linked to this whole mess. Why wouldn't she be? Today is the day where everything apparently wants me dead. Sayaka and Hikari refused to comply. I mean, of course they wouldn't. They wouldn't be very good guardian angels if they had just stepped aside for this maniacal girl. No? I suppose we have to do things the hard way, The pair stand tall before me, their fists tightened. I think there's only one way this is going to end up. The air around them seems to crackle. The amount of power contained within them all is immense. I'm afraid to even take in a breath in case I set something off. This is dangerous. Even I can see that. I blink and... Yuzuki launches for them in a flash with a scythe seemingly torn from the air itself. Wah! Sparks fly from the collision of metal against metal. Hikari was just barely able to react in time, changing her outfit in a flash and blocking the blow with her sword. If she had been any slower there might not have been any heads at all. I knew it! You're just a puppet for her! She speaks through gritted teeth, pushing with all her might to try and keep the scythe at bay as it draws ever closer. It seems like it's a fight she might lose, though the silver-haired girl presses it on without ever so much as a bead of sweat on her brow. Sayaka! Feel free to help at any time! Huh? Oh, right. Losing ground quite rapidly, her feet beginning to slide back from the force, Hikari barks at her partner who had just about recovered from the shock of the strike. They really are in trouble here, and all I can do is stand gawking. I know for sure if I go anywhere near them, I'll be torn apart. This is a fight on a completely different level than me. There's another blinding flash as Sayaka transforms herself, wielding the same bow I had seen her use this morning. She dashes back a little from the clashing girls and preps her bow, pulling back the string. Just snatching up a screenshot. I was about to wonder just where the arrow was, but one seems to just blink into reality, already fully knocked onto the bow. She lets the magical arrow fly, her target is obvious. Caught up in the clash, Yuzuki has no choice but to pull away from Hikari. She kicks back gracefully, the arrow just inches away from grazing her cheek. About time! Hikari leaves a sigh of relief as she eases her shoulders. Finally able to rest, if only for a moment. The flight is clearly far from over. The girls regroup and ready themselves, the mysterious opponent now going over them with her unsettlingly cold eyes. Be careful, Sayaka. She's strong. I was just barely able to hold her back there. Sayaka nods, a look of determination painting her face that I wasn't even aware she was capable of. Taking just a moment to analyze the situation, the dark girl closes in again for a second round. Oh, is this all that you've got? This is going to be far easier than I ever imagined. Ah, this is so much fun! And here I thought this boy's little guardians might actually have been a threat. Silly me. Shut up! This isn't over yet! She twirls her scythe with ease and swipes at the pair with the same maniacal expression. Each strike is either just barely dodged by the girls or just about deflected by Hikari's desperate counterattacks. This is a completely one-sided fight. If that wasn't already clear from the moment this girl had made her first move. She's able to take both of them on with no problem, blocking whatever attack Hikari might be able to muster in her position and chasing after Sayaka whenever she attempts to make some distance between them for her bow. Fine, let's see if you can dodge at this speed. Whoa. They're moving so fast that my eyes can't keep up with it at all. The action eventually is just turning into a colorful blur as the fight drags on, battle cries and the clash of steel filling the air. The street around them is becoming completely wrecked. Lampposts are split in two, parked cars are being sent flying, and even chunks of the road itself are being chipped away at every time they collide together. Without warning, the intense beat grinds to a halt. Sayaka is suddenly sent tumbling to the ground. Hikari shortly following as the silver-haired girl stands triumphant, not a single scratch upon her. Well, they better not have this as the thumbnail, even though that would be quite drawing. I think the other one was a bit safer. What? They end up tangled in a heap together, both of them fairly dazed. Thankfully, they don't seem too hurt, but they certainly each have their fair share of bruises. Are you guys alright? Unable to keep myself from cowering any longer, I call out to them, taking a step towards the Qa'Rajh. I freeze up completely as the silver-haired girl's hollow eyes flutter onto me. Her gaze is frightening, paralyzing. She came here for me, just like that monster did before. Do I have a sign on my back that says, kill me or something? What are you doing, you idiot? Stay away! We're fine! Hikari rouses me to my senses with a harsh cry. It's a bit hard to believe she's fine when she's completely tangled up with her partner, though. They're both flailing helplessly in an effort to get up. Is this my leg or your leg? I can't tell. Ow! Well, don't hit it! That doesn't solve anything. Oh, so it was your leg. Okay, I get it. So why are you still hitting it? Just get off of me. Ah, you're so heavy. Heavy? Me? Yes, you. If you weren't such a glutton, maybe we wouldn't be in this situation. It's not my fault I like to eat. I think you're just jealous I can eat tons and get away with it. I've seen what happens when you pick out Hikari. It's like you triple in size. Excuse me? You're lucky I can't reach my sword right now, I would... Ow! Did you just bite me? You can't prove anything. You're such a savage. This is a complete disaster. With my supposed guardians still trying to sort themselves out, I'm left helpless as Yusuke advances towards me. She takes slow, deliberate steps, almost as if she was enjoying the look of sheer terror across my face. Now that they are out of the way, let's have a little fun, shall we? Thump, thump, thump. My heart is going to rip out of my chest at this rate. I should run, but I can't. Why can't I run? My body isn't listening to anything I tell it at all. The distance between us is almost gone. Is she going to kill me? Why me? What did I ever do to deserve this? I mean, as far as I know, I lived a normal, peaceful life. The closer she gets, the more vivid my headache becomes. The air around me is heavy, suffocating. Even the simple act of taking in a breath is becoming too much for me in this state. Her amber eyes narrow. She tightens her grip on her scythe. Why are you... Oh, it's nothing personal. This is just the way things have to be if I ever want to get my life back on track. Now, say good night. She lashed at me like lightning, a clear intent to kill. I can't even lift my arms to try to defend myself. It's over. Right before the wicked blade comes into contact with me, a bright bolt of what I can only assume is magic whizzes in from the side and catches the girl off guard, knocking her off balance and prolonging my life for just a little while longer. Looking back over at what was once the disaster zone, it appears that Hikari and Sayaka are finally back on their feet. Sayaka has her hand outstretched, plumes of smoke rising from the tips of her fingers. I guess I owe her one there. That was too close. I think it's time for a tactical retreat, wouldn't you agree? Eh? Are we really just going to run? I can still fight. Oh, shush. You can barely stand, come on. While our opponent is still reeling from the attack, my saviors take this opportunity to dash toward me, each of them hooking an arm around me as the weapons shatter into crystals and begin reforming into familiar wings upon their backs. Wait, what are you guys doing? Hold on tight, okay? Before I can even protest any further, they both kick off the ground and we begin to ascend. Up into the air. We're flying. We're actually flying. What? Hey, no, put me down. Couldn't we just run? Quit thrashing about or we're going to drop you, you idiot. I will do no such thing. This is insane. I think I'm gonna puke. Hey, don't you dare! I'll make you wish you were still back down there with that freak of a girl! We continue to trail through the sky, bursting through the clouds as if it were nothing. The wind roaring past me, the glimmering city lights below, the turbulence from being carried by the pair. It's all nauseating. I really don't know if I can stand much more of this. Do you think we lost her? Slowing to a gentle hover and keeping me firmly in their grip, I hope at least, they throw a glance over their shoulders, only just now being able to catch a breath. I think so. I can't believe we had to flee. Hey, we didn't flee, okay? It was a tactical retreat. Call it what you want, but we were lucky to keep our heads intact back then. Silence takes over the pair as they fall into thought. So, huh? Kenza? Oh, I'd almost forgotten about you, sorry. That's a bit worrying. Considering you're the only thing keeping me from falling to a painful and very gruesome death. You're not hurt, are you? No, I'm fine. It's just... Can you maybe... Oh, I don't know. Put me down now! Oh, right. I think it's safe now. Down we go! We begin to ascend from out of the clouds, and it isn't long before my feet finally come into contact with the ground again. The safe and very wonderful ground. I have to restrain myself from wanting to kiss it. I collapse onto my knees, my stomach heaving. Never again. Flying just is not for me. You okay there? Sergei gives me a solid pat on the back, which does little in the way of helping my stomach. Don't! I can barely get my words out after such a traumatic experience. Oh. I take in a deep breath and try again. Don't ever do that again. At least without asking if it's okay first. It was an emergency, you wimp. Hikari takes her turn to pat me on the back, though it's more of a thump than anything, like a punch. Ugh. Do you think I enjoyed having to hold on to you for that long? Okay, I get it. Just no more patting. Ugh. Sayaka circles around and bends forward to look at me, concern across her face. Whoa, I don't think I've ever seen someone's face go green before. Not a big fan of flying, I guess? Whatever gave you that idea. I'll take a moment before finally straightening myself up. Okay, I'm good now. While I was recovering, it looks like Sayaka and Hikari were keeping guard, watching deep into the night for any signs of life. But it looks like they weren't bothered enough to pursue. Weird. Okay, so I know all I've pretty much done is ask you guys questions since we met, but if you're wondering who that creepy girl is, I honestly have no idea. Are you sure? She looks like one of you. You know, with the magical outfit and the wings and... Whoops. I might have said the wrong thing here. They both turned to me, fire in their eyes. Even Sayaka, who I thought was pretty easygoing, seems angry at me here. Did you just compare us to that thing? I didn't mean to. There's a world of difference between us, and whatever the heck she was. For one, did you not see her eyes? She's completely insane. There wasn't a hint of sanity left. Hikari wraps her arm around herself to fight off a shiver. Just thinking about her creeps me out. I guess looking at it from your perspective, she might seem the same as us, with that general look and how her magic seems to work, but everything about her is twisted. The dark shades, the black wings, even those horns. It's like they were set out to become a completely opposite of what we are. Nothing about her power seems natural either. And, your power is? Of course! We worked hard to get where we are today, you know. It's not like we were just born like this. With her, though, it's like it was just... She falls silent, deep in thought. Man, I really don't get any of this. All I know is that apparently those monsters aren't the only thing I have to fear now. Apparently done thinking, Sayaka snaps back into reality and grins. I think we had enough excitement for one day anyway. How about we get you home now? She reaches out to take a hold of my arm, but I'm one step ahead and jump back. I can already tell what she had in mind. No more flying. We'll walk, okay? Walk. Ah, if you're sure. It's much safer in the sky still. Like hell it is. I was lucky I didn't have a heart attack when they were dragging me through the clouds like that. Completely shattered after all the events of today, we start the journey back home. It isn't long before we arrive back at my house. And I can happily say we ran into no more monsters or crazy scythe-wielding girls along the way. I can't believe I even have to take them into consideration now. What has my life become? Well, we won't get an answer to that in the next episode, that's for sure. But we'll definitely get a little bit closer to an answer when we see how things are going with him arriving at his home alone with two girls that are going to protect him very closely. So until next time, take care.